Ah, you damn right. Trust me, I'm as shocked as you are that it was heavy metal. It is the first official Crapbag as its own show. These shows just grow up so fast, don't they? It is basically whatever's in my head. If you haven't experienced the crap bag before, there's not a whole lot to it other than it's whatever I'm thinking. It's the world of sports, but it's also some other things. We're in the hall of helmets, so there might be helmets and uniforms and things like that mentioned. We will get to a lot of different things, and we will hit a lot of different things. I'm a big believer in four big pillars, not only sports, but entertainment, food, and music. So all of them might be involved. Welcome in to the first crap bag, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:00. We give Alex Dunlap a couple days to breathe. Shook ones, I don't know. I know exactly who gave me the show. I'm not sure. They told me if I can make it all the way through a show, we might even have Paul Rudd's voice if we're allowed to, copyright wise. Who knows? If you need help remembering it, just think of a bag of crap. So we've got all kinds of stuff to get into today. But don't worry, each crap bag will begin with a big three. That is three things on my mind, three things from the world of sports, and it will include all my Longhorn people out there, all those Longhorn brothers and sisters that check out Orange Bloods live. Don't worry, we will definitely get you. And then we filter it down to any Cowboy stuff that's out there. Maybe there's some Aggie stuff that needs to get mentioned or SEC stuff. It is, after all, 167 days, Longhorn fans, until you officially become a member of the SEC. That's the kind of important information you're going to have in the crap bag. Feel free to jump in the specs chat if you want. You know those super chats go right to the top of the list. Before we get into the big three, let me just remind you that today is National Do Nothing Day. Probably the perfect day to start the official crap bag show. So on National Do Nothing Day, if you want to jump in the chat and let me know what would you do if you could just do nothing today, or give me your favorite line from Office Space, because of course Peter was the ultimate do nothing guy and it was everything he thought it could be. Maybe my favorite line of that movie is, why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks. Let me know what you like out of Office Space. The movie, one of the many great movies filmed in the city of Austin. So we'll get that chat started. Look at this right here. Here you go. Blake says first crap bag super chat. Well done. Volleyball clap. First crap bag super chat. Thank you, Blake. Your $2. If you want to throw a question in, that's fine. If not, you could just hang out and throw something in the tip jar. I do appreciate that. That is awesome. All right, let's jump on into the big three. If you're a Longhorn football fan, what do you need to know today? That whole Akina thing, probably not happening. There's a report out of Arizona. Follow my logic here, because Arizona found their new coach. It's Brent Brennan. Sounds like a made-up name from a movie, but apparently it's real. Brent Brennan was the coach at San Jose State. Put a good record together, by the way. Some of the best stuff they've had there. He's now going to be the Arizona head coach. He had applied for the job, interviewed for it when they hired Jed Fish. So he's in at Arizona. As soon as that happens, Longhorn fans are wondering about Johnny Nansen, the new linebackers coach and co-DC. Well, that one appears to maybe be safe because Nansen did interview for the job, but so far, there's been no word that he would actually want to go back to that job and be the DC, which is the position he left anyway at Arizona. He wouldn't want to go back to that same job underneath a coach that, he'd gone head up for the job with. I don't know if he and Brennan are good friends, but it appears that Nansen may still be in Austin. So that's good news if you're a Texas fan. The bad news might be the Akina part, because he might get offered an actual job, like one of the coaches. So that would be a little different than the analyst role. Now they just got to figure out, does a 66, 67, somewhere in there, does a upper 60s-year-old Dwayne Akina really want to be out on that recruiting trail, crushing it in living rooms and all that stuff? If he does, he may end up at Arizona. So that's something you need to know if you are a Texas fan. Also, Texas D-line coach has not been figured out. Maybe keep the name Rod Wright in your mind, former Longhorn. He's on the Texan staff as an assistant D-line coach. Obviously, they're dealing with playoff stuff. That one still needs to be determined. In terms of the NFL, and speaking of the NFL, I should say, 2 winners last night in the NFL. As painful as it was as a Cowboys fan to watch what happened to the Cowboys, and by the way, that's why the Cowboys helmet, of course, is facing the back, trying to figure out what it did. By the way, if you look at those helmets back there, you can tell the Cowboys, yeah, they're the only one that lost at home, kids. Only one. Rams didn't lose at home. Eagles didn't lose at home. Neither did Miami, neither did Pittsburgh, and neither did Cleveland. Only the Cowboys did that and wasted a 2 seed in the process. Not that I'm upset. But last night, how about Baker, the touchdown maker in Tampa? 32-9. Are you kidding me? How about the Bucks? I had to write it down because it was so good. The Bucks ran for 4.1 a carry. And trust me, as a guy who follows the Bucks in addition to the Cowboys, they have not been doing that throughout the season. 34 minutes of time of possession. That's what I'm talking about, Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield throws a 119.8 rating out there, and they trashed Philly. If you didn't watch that game, let me tell it to you this way. The final score was 32-9. If I can get just a couple Tampa Bay Buccaneers to catch a football on a couple plays, they really destroy the Eagles. And hell, if I get all the field goals to become touchdowns, it's like 58-9 by the end of that game. Bucks get a win. And then yesterday, we finally got around to Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and it was definitely Buffalo's game. 31-17 by the end. Josh Allen was a badass, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 121.9 for his rating. And Buffalo toted for 5.3 a carry. They were awesome when they needed to be. So now we get the setup that we wanted. If you wanted Kansas City, Buffalo, if you wanted Josh Allen against Mahomes, if you wanted Patrick Mahomes to actually have to pack a bag for a playoff game other than the Super Bowl, you get your wish. Kansas City has to go on the road to Buffalo. Can't wait. If you missed the schedule, here it is. Because I know we got Texans fans out there. And hey, to the victor go the spoils, like my man Jeff Ketchum likes to say. I am sitting here as a Cowboys fan on January the 16th. I just watched a little report a few minutes ago from Texans practice because they're still practicing. You know what the Cowboys are doing today? Vacation stuff because things have been cleaned out. They had final meetings yesterday. So congrats to you, Texans fans. You can rub it in as much as you want on every Cowboy fan you work with because we can't say much. Texans and Baltimore, 3:30 on Saturday. 7:15 is Green Bay, San Francisco. The battle of who the heck cares for us Cowboy fans. What do we hope there, Cowboy fans? You root for Green Bay so San Francisco can't get to 6? That's probably the way, right? Because you don't think Green Bay is going to actually go win the Super Bowl. So can they get San Francisco out of the way so they don't go get to 6? That's probably the way you think about it. And then on Sunday, it's Tampa and Detroit. Either Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff is going to the NFC title game. Everybody just get comfortable with that idea. And Kansas City and Buffalo will be a Sunday 5:30 game. So all that happening yesterday. NFL gets the playoffs set. The other item in the big 3 today, got to talk coaching. Coaching, the carousel, the dominoes, whatever you want to call it, but in an off season where we'll see Nick Saban retire and Bill Belichick relocate, you may never see anything like that again. So here is the latest. Let me see if I get this right from Saban. Let's see if we can play that game. Saban retires from Alabama. Kalen DeBoer goes from Washington to Alabama. Jed Fish goes from Arizona to Washington. And now Brent Brennan goes from San Jose State to Arizona. I think I did that right. So now if you care about San Jose State, that would kind of be your next level. Or maybe now that one sort of falls off. And maybe the next little domino game to start is Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh interviews with the Chargers yesterday. That's where everybody has thought he was going. He hired Don Yee, I believe is his name, a famous agent among NFL guys, NFL coaches. Jimmy Sexton seems to be the guy for those college coaches. Well, Don Yee's the guy on the NFL side. So people thought, well, that's why he got him, because he wants to go to the NFL. He did that interview yesterday. Keep eyes peeled on that. We've still got 7 openings in the NFL. Remember, Belichick out in New England, and Gerard Mayo has already been announced. Like, that's going to happen. So that 8 number went to 7. So Jim Harbaugh interviews with the Chargers yesterday. I'll get back to Harbaugh in a second. And the discussion about Atlanta continued. Atlanta interviewed Bill Belichick. Let's just stop on that one a second. Could Bill Belichick possibly have the same exit strategy Tom Brady did? Could he go from New England to the NFC South, a weird, strange, winnable, crazy division, and maybe get another ring? I'm not sure if Atlanta's quite set up the way Tampa was, because that defense in Tampa was pretty salty in 2020. And then you're adding Brady. With all due respect to Belichick, not as much direct effect on something when you can say, no, I'm walking in here. I'm Tom Brady. I'll take the snap. And oh, by the way, you've got Mike Evans and Godwin. And what if I could bring Gronk? And oh, wait, Antonio Brown's not completely crazy yet. And then you roll from there. But just keep it in mind, you got Carolina open and Atlanta open in that division. And now you got Bill Belichick going through the interview process, which must be a dazzler if you're actually interviewing him. That could be incredible. By the way, Sandman, I'm not sure what this is about. Happy DND Aggies. Y'all haven't done shit since 19. What is that? Huh? What? I don't know. Happy Do Nothing Day. Oh, I get it. You haven't done anything. Man, I didn't mean to set it up like that, Sandman, but you did find a way to turn it into an Aggie joke. All right, there you go. And oh, I see. Okay, Sandman earlier. Aggies have their own holiday. Do nothing. I wouldn't say they haven't done anything since 1939. Let's calm down. In terms of a national title, yes, but I get the joke. You do whatever you want to do. By the way, ATX, Big Rich, I'm at work doing nothing, so I'm covered. There you go. There you go. Oh, and hey, if you're talking Office Space, 2 chicks at the same time, man. I don't know if you need $1 million for that, man. Kind of chicks that double up on a dude like me would. Such a great character. Oh my God. Office Space. I watch it about every 6 months, whether I need to or not. Fantastic. All right. TexX75. Where's the bowling pin? Finally give it to Chance? Nope. It's right down here. The bowling pin technically wouldn't be a part of the crap bag. I guess it could be. We can put it up there if you like. And they did win. So maybe we'll tell you what. We'll do that. We'll put that right over there just for Chance for now. Over here on the AFC side, we can put it in there. Yes, that's the hand-painted bowling pin that Chance Mock has earned thanks to the Longhorns getting to the playoff. I just have not seen Chance. He's in the Woodlands, and I am where I am, and the magic of the technology brings us together. So I haven't been able to see him. So there you have it. If you want to throw a super chat in, that'll go right to the top of the list. Somebody asking this important question. No, I have not watched Little Nicky yet, but I appreciate you asking there. And for Sandman, the Dallas Cowboys also celebrate since 1996. Okay, there's no reason to bring all that stuff up. Although, as the crap bag gets rolling, you should know next week on the Tuesday show, we will do updated truth for the Dallas Cowboys. Sadly, I've had to do updated truth every single year since 1996. As once we get there and we know who's in the championship games, I'll reset it for you again, and we'll talk about what the Cowboys have done since the last time they've been to the championship game and what everybody else has done. But that's next week. Don't worry. We will get there. But I think the coaching stuff is obviously something to keep an eye on because it affects everything. We got these coaching dominoes rolling. Back to Harbaugh for a second before I leave the coaching discussion. Jim Harbaugh interviews with the Chargers, as I mentioned. The discussion today around Harbaugh and Michigan is really interesting. One theory that I like is that Michigan's leaking this stuff that I'm about to mention. Dan Wetzel has reported what he's hearing today, and it is about a guaranteed contract. They're talking about guaranteed like 11.5 million, maybe 6 years. But apparently Harbaugh wants there to be specific language in there. And how did they phrase it? He wants immunity from termination for any finding or sanction in current investigations. So I believe there's 3 of them. There's the COVID recruiting stuff, which they believe he's lied about. Then there's one with a separate coach, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know the details of exactly what those infractions are. I don't think they're level 1 type infractions. They're infractions, though. And then the third one, of course, is Connor Stallions and the recording and all that. And frankly, I don't know how much hard evidence there is to absolutely prove that Harbaugh knew. I'm one of those that would say, how could he have not known? Of course he knew, but that's different than actually proving it. To be able to actually prove that is going to be difficult. So it's those three things. So just keep an eye on Harbaugh, maybe for the next day or so. But if Harbaugh goes to the pros, then we've got a whole nother thing that goes. Jeff Ketchum threw out the idea on House Divided today. What if it does end up being Harbaugh gone from Michigan, and there's always been that talk? Maybe it is it the Brian Kelly discussion that he would end up going to Michigan, that he wouldn't leave LSU for much, but he might actually leave him for Michigan because he's more of a Midwest guy, et cetera, and all that. Keep an eye on that story with Harbaugh, but there's a lot of coaching stuff going on today as well. And then this is a question too. Somebody throwing in, what the crap is happening with the D-line coach? Mark, good question. We mentioned that earlier as well. Not a ton of development there, but I would keep Rod Wright's name maybe in mind. If you hadn't heard, Freddie Roach, that's at Alabama, the report is he's going to stay with Kalen DeBoer. So that was one of those first names that that came out. Somebody asking on the chat about Harbaugh, isn't he admitting to cheating by asking for these in his contract? In a way, yeah. And that's why I think Michigan would have leaked this out. There's no way Harbaugh's happy that this would have gotten out, or even the idea of it got out. He'll be able to deny that at some point. He should deny that if somebody asks him specifically. When he gets to that, let's say he takes the Chargers job and they ask him in the press conference, he will, I'm assuming, deny that. And because you wouldn't want that part of it to get out. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, that's just, it wouldn't make any sense. It's like, if you're a traveling salesman and you're about to get married and you want to put a clause in the prenup that says she can't divorce you if you cheat on her with a woman in Missouri. It's like, wait, what? What are you admitting to ahead of time? What do you already have set up? What are you thinking about? So there's that bizarre kind of specificity to it with Harbaugh. So just keep your eyes peeled on that. All right. So it is the first crap bag. Thanks to up already over 100 folks in the Specs chat. I do appreciate you there. Blake, let's hit them with a little Specs. 15 seconds of Specs, and then I'll tell you about what you can get over there at Specs. But first, Lisa and the Rabbit want to tell you what you can be doing during this cold weather. Get stocked up. Here we go.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
And cheers to Specs. Hope you're having a good one and you're warm and safe inside. Specs app, she mentioned it, specsonline.com, not only for all those, menu ideas, cocktail recipes and everything, but they can also get that possibly delivered right to you, maybe same day, depending on your location, or just head into one of your great Specs locations if it's safe for you to do so. Right now, it would appear in a lot of areas that the roads aren't the bad part. It's just damn cold. So maybe wrap up, bundle up, and head out to Specs, which I'm going to need to do pretty soon because I just ran out of one of my favorite flavors of Deep Eddy vodka. They've got all 8 flavors at Specs if you want to check it out. In case you don't know that list: original sweet tea, ruby red cranberry, orange, lemon, lime, and peach. Those are the 8 Deep Eddy vodka flavors. I ran out of orange last night. I decided to celebrate the Bucks beating the Eagles by making up an orange drink because I fell in love with the Bucks when they were wearing that orange. So I did a little orange Deep Eddy vodka drink last night. They can do one of those for you out at the tasting room. They make up these great cocktails of all different types using all the different flavors. So you can get a margarita on the rocks vibe with one, head over towards the Paloma vibe with the grapefruit on, the ruby red on another, or maybe it's, you want to go more of a Cosmo vibe with the cranberry. They've got all kinds kinds of great ideas for you out at the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room. You can also just do flights of vodka, which is very, very cool as well, kind of looking at the differences with each one. Crimson Creek Smokehouse Barbecue is on site. It makes it for such a great occasion. So get on out there to Dripping Springs, Highway 290. Make it a part of your schedule coming up. Again, if the weather's good enough now and it's just cold, we'll get on into that tasting room. They're inside. You can just bundle up, walk in there, have yourself a good time at the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room. Thursday and Friday, 11 to 7, 11 to 5 on Saturday, and Sunday it is 12 to 5. All right. It is the Crapbag, and somebody says lime, ruby red, chef's kiss. Yeah, both very good. Both very good. I'm more of a lime guy than the ruby red guy, but that's the beauty of having all those different flavors. You find those ones that you love. All right. So let's dig in a little more here on the Crapbag. If you know me, you know I love not only the helmets and uniforms and all that, and if there is in need of a helmet or uniform discussion, you know I'll jump in there. But also, I love stats, love the data of sports, and one of my weird obsessions has become the turnover stat in the NFL. So we were doing turnover Tuesdays when we had Crapbag on the Tuesday show. Figure since we start on a Tuesday, let's take a look. Last week, at the end of the season, I told you the regular season, we ended up at 74% in the NFL. So this all started when I was a kid. I'd always watch, and they would say, oh, you win the turnovers, you win 80% of the time. At one point, I just thought, man, let me just look at the number to see how it fleshes out. And in some years, it did end up at 80%. But then I've noticed lately, specifically, it seems like it's not getting there at 80%. So what you're about to see is kind of a collection of a lot of years. And yes, it's sad that I've collected this data in advance. I admit that going into this, that it's a bit sad, but I'm trying to figure out what it's telling me about the NFL. So this will get us back to the playoffs in a second. But first, here's the data that's been collected by yours truly. That line between 20 and 21 signifies when we went to the new playoff format. Okay, so 14 teams in the playoffs have only been the last 3 seasons. So we just finished, obviously, 2023, and you see the number, 74%. Now, on the right-hand side, when it says 0 weeks at 80%, that means at any point during the year, when I get to the end of each week, I do the total number, and if it's 80% or more, that counts as 1 week. So kind of interesting that the last 2 years, there's been 9 full weeks of the season where you're at 80% or better. But this year wasn't one time. There wasn't one moment where I recalculated after a week and you were at 80%. Now, were there obviously weeks where the individual week was? Sure, but not the total. So 74% for this year. Now, the other number that's weird and interesting to me is that one in parentheses. And you'll see at the bottom, I explain what it is. The number of teams that season that win turnovers and lose a game. To me, as a football nerd, that's a crime. That's a crime against the sport. You can't win turnovers and lose the game. That's not supposed to happen, right? Coaches are all, we got to protect the ball. We got to win turnovers and all of that. So as you see, the last 3 years, 41 teams did it, 48 teams the following year, and then 56 this year. And again, all of that is equal numbers of games. If you want to take the stuff below the line and throw it away because you're saying, wait, Chad, that's 16 games. That's not 17. And that's an extra game for everybody. So obviously that's more opportunity for teams to, win turnovers and lose. I got it. But I will continue to watch this stat to try to figure out, why is that number growing? Why are there more teams winning turnovers and losing the game? Is it because the new analytics allow you to, and you're being more aggressive and you're going for 4th down more and all that kind of stuff? Or is it the exact opposite? Is it the fact that the analytics are messing with your opportunity to win the game when you win turnovers? Not quite sure, but some interesting numbers there. And by the way, I highlighted 2020 there. I think it's pretty obvious why 2020 might be that high number at 82%, the low number of 35 teams in parentheses and 15 weeks at 80% or more. Why would that be different? Because that was COVID, obviously. So the COVID year, you're in empty stadiums, basically. So I think what we saw that year was it turned out to be a pretty basic version of football where I can, for instance, if I win the turnovers, but I'm at home versus on the road, things are different because the crowd might be wearing on me a little bit. There was no crowd to wear on anybody. It was just about the teams. And that year, it really did lay out to be, okay, 82% of the time, win turnovers, win the game. Other years kind of have strange numbers that go along with it. So that is the kind of some regular season stuff. Let me bring it closer to right now for you Texans fans, Baltimore fans, and, fans of teams that are actually in it, unlike our Cowboys. This is the playoffs since we went to the 14-team playoff system. You're almost at 80%. Total, it's 19-5. You're 12-2 if you don't commit a turnover. Just play a playoff game and don't turn the ball over. You're 12-2. Who are the two that screwed that up? It's Tampa Bay and Cincinnati from 2021. It's at least Cincinnati. Tampa Bay might have actually had a turnover that day. But in the run for the Rams, this was interesting. In the run for the Rams in 21, they had 2 games where they won turnovers and lost the turnover and won the ball game, including the Super Bowl. That was a little interesting for me, that you actually win a Super Bowl that way. So far under this system, you're 3-0 if you go +3. You're 1-0 if you go +4. But let's give special attention to those LA Chargers. This is why the Crapbag looks up this information. Chargers are the only team since we went to this format to go +5 and lose a playoff game. Hey, that's well done. That's why you need a new coach, because your old one is a maniac. They went to Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence threw them 4 interceptions, and there was a fumble for Jacksonville. And they still won that game somehow, 31-30. Remember when the Chargers got up 27-0? Yeah, that one. 27-7 and still lost? Yeah, that game. That's the +5 for those LA Chargers. So there you go. Little turnover Tuesday for you, because I just couldn't resist a little turnover Tuesday here on the first Crap Bag. Also, something to keep your eye on from the Crap Bag today, and that is the NCAA. If you're a Texas fan, hell, Aggie fan, one of my Aggie brothers and sisters, if you're a fan of Michigan, if you're a fan of USC, Oregon, I think it affects everybody. But when the Florida State story came out about punishment for Norvell's crew, I don't think enough people paid attention to what it was. They dumped that on a Friday, all right? But here's what they announced. They have been penalized for NIL violations, and it's level 2, so it didn't raise to they're not doing a postseason ban. So people didn't want to talk about it. They just kind of brushed it aside. Oh, we got a weekend coming up. What are you talking about? We got some NFL stuff. It's recruiting inducements is what they're being punished for. So it's that technicality of, are you using it to induce them to come to campus or not? We'll get to that in a second. But this is the punishment. 2-year probation, a year disassociation from their collective. Interesting. Their OC, Alex Atkins. Imagine this for your team. This is your offensive coordinator, has a 3-game suspension for his involvement in this story. He's also got a 3-year disconnection, order from the booster. So there's a particular booster that he has to disconnect from. I don't know what that means. Lose his number? What does that mean? You can't follow him on Twitter anymore for 3 years? They have to disconnect. No violations for Mike Norvell, so nobody paid attention. And no level 1 violations, so nobody paid attention. But here's why this story fascinates me, and why I'd be concerned if I was a Texas fan, why I am concerned as an A&M fan. A&M's a school that's known for doing supposedly pretty good NIL, having it organized fairly well. Oregon's another. USC might be another. Georgia's another. So this whole notion of inducement versus non-inducement baffles me, because I thought we were going to treat this like adults. I thought we were going to have a big boy discussion in college football, and the NCAA doesn't want to have it. So what they're saying, as I'm understanding it, is if this is a $100 bill, what they're saying is when the kid walks on campus, I can hand him the $100 bill, but he can't have had any knowledge that the $100 bill was even on campus. He can't know that it was $100. He can't know any amount. It just has to be completely nebulous to the kid. He could be walking on campus thinking it could be $100. It could be $1 million. It could be 3 cheeseburgers, or it could be one of these mini helmets behind me. He can't know that, because if he knew that, it would be an inducement. Oh my God, not an inducement. How dare you induce? I can't believe you would ever induce. Maybe I have different feelings about this because I have one child, and frankly, we had to induce. We did. No problem. We love her a lot after inducement. What's wrong with inducement? That's part of it, right? I'll keep going back to the same analogy because I think it makes sense. If you're a big time anything, doctor, lawyer, whatever, and you're applying for the job in LA, and you're going to go interview for the job in New York, when your friends and family ask you about it, you're going to tell them about salary, but you're also going to say, hey, this one's got a company car and access to this badass summer house. And this other one has like a place to stay. Like it's this badass downtown apartment that they're going to give me rent free. So I have to factor this in here, that in there. You're not going to just show up. Hey, I'm here for my first day at the big law firm. Yeah. What are they paying you? I don't know. No idea. What about your living I have no idea. I don't know. I'm not allowed to know. It'd be an inducement. Can't do that. I got to walk in day one and you tell me what it is. It would concern me if I'm a fan of any other big dog. I don't know why the NCAA has to stick their fingers in it this way. Do we need more of a national perspective? Maybe. Do we need a commissioner? Maybe. Does the idea of Nick Saban as the first commissioner of college football intrigue me? Kind of, yeah, because the press conferences would be brilliant. They would be brilliant. But just keep an eye on that story, no matter who you are a fan of. I think it's an interesting one, and I hope it is something that they can clarify, because I think it needs to be clarified. Because if y'all really think these dudes are getting in the portal right now and not asking about what would the NIL be, you think Walter Nolan got in the portal from A&M, said NIL would be a big deal, and then ended up at Ole Miss. Do you really think no one in Oxford discussed that with him? Hey, Walter, we can't really tell you about NIL, so just come for the Grove. Huh? Well, just the Grove. You know, we're Ole Miss, and we're known for the Grove. Come for that. Yeah, I know, but I want to ask about can't talk about that. Sorry. We can't induce you to come to Oxford. You got to come to Oxford first. So silly. So stupid. Hopefully they can avoid that kind of stuff moving forward. But if I'm Florida State, I'm confused here too. Because I told you the OC has a 3-year, I have to disconnect from the booster. Do you know who that booster is? That booster runs the collective. So for a year, your whole team has to be disconnected from the collective. But after that year, now you're reconnected to a collective that's run by the booster that your offensive linemen can't connect with for 2 more years. Huh? What? We're just trying to figure out life in the ACC. Can we do that? We're trying to deal with the fact that we're going to get like $30 million in TV money every year, and the new SEC's producing 80, and the new Big Ten might be producing 75. Can we please deal with these problems instead of you giving us all these technicalities? Is there any way? Oh, good grief. There you go. So that's the latest on that story. I think a lot of people missed it. Just keep your eye on that one. All right, let's see what let's see if we get a little chats in on this. They want to keep the appearance of amateur. Court ruling was that they have the right to make money off of companies using their name, image, and likeness. They still can do pay to play. That is from John. I think the chat was discussing some of the different things that bring in. I think this came off of this discussion. So I said, didn't Abbott pass a law that no athletic conference or group can prohibit Texas colleges from participating in sports or penalize them for engaging in activities the new law authorizes. Brandon, it's a great thing to bring up. And this is the thing. It's got to be clarified across the board because you don't know which ones are going to take seriously, which ones they're not. Florida State's a school that they're going to, are they going to give them a lot of leeway? I'm not necessarily, but then we all know they're going to treat certain schools a little differently than they treat maybe this school over here, North Carolina basketball. They're going to Kansas basketball. They're going to treat certain teams differently. Let's just get something that applies to everybody. That might actually be a good idea. All right. Again, it is Happy Do Nothing Day. Enjoy your nothing today. Just spend a little time going. Peter, what was his name? Peter LaFleur is dodgeball. Peter Gibbons, right? Wasn't that his name from Office Space? Yeah. Peter Gibbons. Just enjoy your nothingness today. Also, if you don't know the Crapbag, one of the other things I do love is some birthdays. Now, since Crapbag is going to be Tuesday and Thursday right now, the Tuesday shows will incorporate Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of birthdays. Here's what stood out to me. Happy birthday last Sunday to Jeff Tate of Queensryche. Y'all know I'm a metalhead. Jeff's one of my favorite lead singers, and he's one of the most powerful voices we have ever had on this planet. Shout out to Jeff. I think he's out there with a version of it. These bands break up, and then it turns into, I think there's a Jeff Tate's Queensryche, and then there's a Queensryche. Because I saw a Queensryche open for Judas Priest. Jeff Tate wasn't near that building that night. Nothing against the dude on stage, but you ain't Jeff Tate, bro, and you know it. But happy birthday to Jeff over the weekend. Jason Bateman on Sunday had a birthday. If you've never seen Ozark and you're looking for a show to get into, holy hell, it is good. It is so, so good. Jason Bateman, brilliant. And if you don't already have an appreciation for Laura Linney, the actress that plays his wife, you will get an appreciation pretty damn fast in that show. Happy birthday to Bateman over the weekend. When we hit Monday, of course, that was MLK Day. Shout out to all of you and all of humanity on MLK Day. Hope you tried to make the world a better place on Monday. Here's a way to make your entertainment world a better place. Monday was Lloyd Bridges' birthday. I know Lloyd best from the Airplane movies. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Fantastic. Airplane and Airplane 2. I would recommend both. Don't let them talk you out of seeing Airplane 2. It's a good sequel. Happy birthday to Lloyd Bridges this week. Cowboy fans, you need something to smile about because, damn it, that team's not doing it for you. But Old 54 had a birthday this week. Randy White, the Manster, celebrated a birthday. If you don't know that old school, Randy went to Maryland before he became a Dallas Cowboy legend. If you're an Austin area person, you obviously know this name. If you're a Westlake person, you know this name. He is a Super Bowl champion. He's one of the group of Westlake Super Bowl champion quarterbacks. Drew Brees had a birthday this week. Happy birthday to Drew. Of course, the old school is Purdue for Drew. Also this week, he's back in the playoffs now that the Niners are off the off week. Deebo Samuel turns 28 this week. If you don't remember Deebo at college, that was South Carolina, and good Lord, was he awesome there. And he's incredible for the Niners. Niners and Packers, as I mentioned earlier, is a 7:15. It's the primetime Fox game on Saturday. I don't know what we do, Cowboys fans, other than just hope that the stadium implodes and sucks both teams in. That's about all we can hope for. Power outages, whiteout conditions. That'd be good. Give me whiteout conditions so I can't see either team. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Today's birthday list starts with Ronnie Millsap. We got some good musicians today. Ronnie Millsap, happy birthday to Ronnie. He put out an album in 2021 called A Better Word for Love. I listened to a little bit of it. That voice is still damn smooth for you old school country fans. Sade has a birthday today. And rest in peace to Aaliyah, who had a birthday today. She would have been up in her 40s had she lived this long. What a horrible, tragic death in the world of music. She's on that list for me. I don't even like every time I hear the artist, I just think about how they died. So just useless and crazy and awful. Aaliyah, rest in peace. And Texans fans, pay attention. The man who just gave you 2 late holiday presents you weren't even expecting. Joe Flacco was nice enough to come to Houston and hand you not 1, but 2 pick sixes in a playoff game so you could really enjoy it. Not that you wouldn't have enjoyed, what would that be? For 31-14? Because 31-14 is cool, right? I mean, the Bills just won, 31-17. You could have lived with 31-14, but Joe Flacco wrapped you up a 45-14. Joe turns 39 years old today. And before we wrap up the crap bag today, do I have a crap bag piece of info for you to end the show. Sticking with entertainment. Congratulations to the legendary Elton John, who is now an EGOT guy. If you didn't see the article, and I didn't see, my girls watched the awards last night. I'm not sure if Elton was actually part of the live version or not, but Elton won an Emmy they did a big concert movie for his last show at Dodger Stadium, or maybe shows, and they put it together, a la Taylor and Beyonce and all that. And Elton has a Live at Dodger Stadium movie. I think it's on Disney Plus, if you want to check it out. He won an Emmy for that last night. So he becomes the 19th person to win the EGOT, to get the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. But that's not even the craziest piece of information. This is one of those stories. I don't even care if it's true. I'm just going to spread it. My dad always says it's maybe not true, but it should be. Do you know who I read today gets credit for EGOT? I've never read this before. Get ready. 1984. So it's not even back to the 60s. It's not like the birth of theater or anything like that. Nope. The credit I saw today given was to Tubbs from Miami Vice. Yeah. Philip Michael Thomas, the actor who played Tubbs in Miami Vice, supposedly referenced it in 84 and said he wanted to go get the EGOT by this time. And nobody knew what he was talking about. They wanted to win all four. And apparently I don't know if he said EGOT or if someone then took that idea and they called it EGOT, but apparently Philip Michael Thomas is the guy that gave us EGOT. That's about the weirdest crap baggest thing I could come up with today. So happy EGOT to Elton John. Viola Davis, by the way, was the most recent person to become the 18th EGOT member. And now Elton is in at 19. Shout out to you, Elton John. One other reminder, Texas fans, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. You're at 167 today. 167 days from now, you'll be officially a member of the SEC. Your life will just mean more. Your Saturdays will just mean more. And social media and all the snippiness it creates will just mean more. Hopefully you're practicing for SEC time on July the 1st. If you're a Sooner fan, you're getting ready for it as well. 167 days from now. All right, there you go. There's your first crap bag. It is an official show now. We're going Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 because Alex Dunlap is going to be rehearsing and getting ready for what's coming up, and that is the Modcast. Trace those in a super chat, $4.99. Death Row last meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Oh, wait, this is for me. Oh, I thought he was just saying, just do that. Trace, the Death Row meals. Okay, top of my head, Death Row meals. Simple answer, Hay City Store. Yeah, that's actually good. Blake, the super producer, is right. Hay City Store would definitely be a part of it. I think let's go Hay City. The Hay City blackened pork chop would be lunch. I just had where was I where I had that? Where were we? I just had a steak eggs Benedict that was unreal. Like it was the steak instead of the English muffin, you had like this steak and it had the steak, the eggs, the hollandaise. That was incredible. So that would be a good move. But you know what? Let me go old school Austin. I'll go breakfast tacos from the old Star Seeds at breakfast. And that's a late night. So we can do that at 2 a.m. We're going to go blackened pork chop from Hay City at lunch. For dinner, man, what are we doing with dinner? I'll just go simple. My wife's meatloaf. I love my wife's meatloaf to death. That's going to be it. That'll be it. It'll be the last meal. I'll think of my wife. It'll be great. And drinks, man, I'm going to do I'll do The Pine House Electric Jellyfish, I think, would have to be a part of it. Give me a Colorado Bulldog because I'm a vodka guy, but I love the creamy, fruity drinks and everything. That's one of the first ones I fell in love with. So I've got to have a Colorado Bulldog on the way out as well. So let's do that. We'll do we'll do jellyfish first, and then we'll do the Colorado Bulldog to finish off with. There you go. Trace, thank you for that one. I like that. See, that's the kind of crap bag things we're talking about. You can always throw questions my way. You can always throw ideas my way. Whatever you want to do. Those of you that know me from the radio days know that sometimes we'll just do like random days of crazy truth. I've done shows where I was drinking a little bit and telling the truth, but I always do that. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I'll tell you whatever I can. Blake, the super producer, Brent Zorneman says, we're closer. Ross Bjork to Ohio State should be announced soon. Kind of interesting. Yeah, the Aggies may be about to lose their AD. So once again, they'll have a football coach that has an AD that's his boss, but it's not the guy that hired him. It is interesting that Ross Bjork will have to discuss something with Ohio State. They'll go through, okay, so you signed Jimbo Fisher to this weird guaranteed hunk of, and then Bjork gets to say, no, I didn't hire him. But then Ohio State will look a little closer and go, yeah, but you gave him the extension, right? Didn't you do that? Well, yeah, no, because the Orange Bowl, right? You did that. You extended it 4 more years and still made it all guaranteed? That was you? Okay. All right. Yeah, Ross Bjork may be headed to Ohio State. Also, this is nice coming in on the chat. JD Hack 80. Chad, awesome job on the first solo show, bud. We love you. Thank you so much for that. Oh, look at the sheep. See, hook 'em, the thumb, the sheep, and the laughing emoji all at once. JD, that is well done. You knew that my ego would see awesome job and I'd have to put it up without realizing that you'd put the sheep emoji in there. That's well done. Well done, sir. And see, and now I can't even get it off the screen because I apparently don't know how to use the technology. Just well done. You win on all facets there. Fantastic. All right. Let's see. What else do we get? People are just throwing in some food ideas. Let's throw a couple of these in real quick. Mud bugs in Buda and dewy crusted redfish. Ooh, that's good. I do love a good piece of seafood, Ricardo. That's a good idea. Mud bugs, always a good idea. That is really, really good. I am not sure, Chris, what this is for. Sad day for Longhorns. I don't know what that's about, Chris. If you want to clarify before we get out of here, we can do that. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, for Bjork? Oh, I see. Sad day for Longhorns that Bjork would be leaving. I got you. That's what you're doing? Gotcha. Blake says, coach one, play for one, own one. Cowboys, Niners, Texans. Oh, geez. Hang on. Let me think about that one. Coach one, play for one, own one. Good grief. I would play for the Cowboys, coach the Texans, and own the Niners. I think that's what I would do. I'm just imagining myself owning a team out in Northern California and whatever that could mean. So I think that's my first gut, Blake. Thank you for that. Appreciate you there. That is definitely what the crap bag could become. Just random questions you can throw at me. I will take those all day. All right, so back to the Modcast. Coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon, the Modcast is back. It has never had a schedule like this before, but we know you love it. Catch knows you love it. The Orange Bloods crew knows you love it. So it is locked in now. Here's your new 4 o'clock set every day. You got something at 4 o'clock Monday through Thursday. We'll let you breathe on a Friday because let's face it, you're already out getting those dream drinks and food anyway. So Modcast is Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4. Jeff Ketchum, Anwar Richardson, Jason Sukamel, and Alex Dunlap going over everything in their head, talking about whatever they want, but you know you're going to get a lot of great Longhorn information. Those guys have sources on their sources. I'm sure one of them might have a source. The other doesn't even know who the source is. They protect sources from each other, but they're going to get you all the information. Also, a good reminder, get to orangebloods.com. If you haven't gotten signed up, there's always great information. I mentioned earlier on the show today, Jason Sukamel's got a list of dudes coming in for this junior day this week. And it's like a 30, 35 player list. If I tried to say them all, it would take too damn long, but you can see it right there at orangebloods.com. So if there is someone in your life that you know is a Longhorn freak and you've always wanted, man, I should probably just get him that Orange Blood subscription. His birthday's coming up. She would love it for our anniversary. He would really dig it for his birthday, whatever it is. Maybe it's just a New Year's present. Maybe it's a, hey, we survived the cold kind of present. Whatever it is, get over to orangebloods.com for that as well. Thanks to everybody for jumping in on the Specs chat. You got Modcast coming up at 4 and that new schedule that Blake just threw up. You can check. You can go back in this show and recheck it that way, or just like, subscribe, and get those notifications. We got to 18.4 thousand as of today or yesterday, I think. We're slowly climbing up. Doesn't cost you anything to like, to subscribe to the YouTube channel, or to get those notifications. So you will find out right as a show is about to start, and then you'll know that it is there. Thank you for joining me for the first Crap Bag until Thursday at 2 when we will do it again. This has been the Crap Bag. See ya.